Hey everybody, welcome back to Learning DIY on the Fly. The last video I pretty much gave some updates, and so I'm going to try to get this 65 Sears up and running. It was originally a 65 Sears 12, I believe. Yeah, SS12. So it stands for Sears Suburban, blah blah blah. So anyway, so the Sears Suburban 12 was a 1965, came with the books, all the original books and stuff like that. I bought it in 2020 and I used it for a year, and I noticed the motor used some oil. That was fine, didn't really bother me too much. It's fucking old. So I'm like, okay, cool, I'll go ahead and just run it, and I'll just add oil to it. And the guy said, yep, runs great, everything works. So you use the snowblower a few times, which snowblower's outside. Chain broke immediately after I hooked it up. Just had horrible luck with this thing, and you know, it's old. It's just how things get. The parts get old. They get old and worn out and busted. So essentially, what I did is I was like, okay, what do people normally swap into these things motor wise? Because I don't want to rebuild the motor when I get that far. So I looked at Predator, and I'm like, okay, cool, Predator, 13 horse, close enough, horizontal drive, blah 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 blah. So immediately after that, it broke down, wasn't getting spark. Took a spark plug, all that stuff, and then I read on a bunch of stuff that, yeah, it's kind of normal, blah, blah, blah. But you gotta tear the whole side of the motor off, get to the points and whatever the hell it said. And I'm like, you know what? How much is it gonna cost? It's like, oh, since they're old vintage parts, we don't really make them anymore. You either try to refurbish them yourself, or it's a couple $100. I was like, okay, so $200 for parts, or $400 and some for a new motor. So let me turn you around and kind of show you what I've been working with, and get you guys up to par to where I'm going to start today, where I left off. So here is the old motor that came off there. And that is going to be what's going to kill me. I got to get that off so I can put it on the new motor. And I got a sleeve so it's the right size and all that stuff on the inside. So if not, I'm going to have to figure out this whole thing. Anyway, pulled this motor off, got it out. There's a couple bolts that hold the motor. There was the bracket here that was bolted in, had some other crap on it. But yeah, sent me this and had the book with all the stuff, and I'm like, yeah, this guy really took care of his shit, and he's had all the written down dates and receipts and all that stuff for the oil changes. And I'm like, okay, cool. Well, after that, I took the plate and the gas tank and pulled the motor, pulled the front off, which is over here. And this is all in decent shape. It'll get painted and stuff eventually, but so I took all this stuff off. Essentially, this is where the hood thing mounted right here, and this is generally, if I remember correctly, where the motor's got to go, and it's going to be quite unfortunate if that's the drain plug. But yeah, motor was brand new. Fired it up one time to run it, make sure everything was going to work, and then sat it on here, and then that's where I left it. I did leave the controls, if I remember. Yep. So this is still hooked up to in the back, and then, you know, it's got the wires in the back, so I can do that. And then I'm going to use the old cigarette lighter and the light switch or whatever for, I might put another light switch on it, but use this for like a push button start, because this is an electric motor. It's got, all I gotta do is hook battery up to it and turn the key in here, and it'll fire right up, hopefully. Like I said, I fired it up and then it sat for 2 years, essentially 2.5 or about 2. And then I can put the plow on it, and then I'll have snow removal for the winter. So I'm going to go ahead and get the tools needed for the pulley. We'll go ahead and try to play with that for a minute. So essentially, what I got going on, as I guys kick you guys over, is there's a little Allen key in here, or Allen keeper thingamajig, and it is, of course, seized in there. So I'm trying to pull this pin out because essentially it locks on that pin, I hope. And I had this pin pulled out a little bit, apparently, last time I worked on it. And I was tapping on it, hoping it would loosen the bolt, and that wasn't working. So I'm gonna add some heat, see what happens. Ha-ha! Look at that. Almost like I know what I'm doing or something. There, broke it loose. Well, let's see what else I can get figured out. I'm gonna try to pull this pin out of there. I was trying to maybe I'll do this instead. Oh, I have to get my other pry bar. Oh no. Broke part of the pulley off. Apparently this might be probably cast then. Literally broke a chip right off it. Look. Yep, that is definitely cast. Ah. Break it too much more, but if I can get it to move. Is it moving? Huh. I think that's moving. That's crazy. So this is dumb. Like super dumb. But it's moving. But I was trying to wiggle it back and forth. Trying to do it that way. And you know, I wasn't really making a lot of progress. So I'm like, what I should do is do this. That way I can put pressure on both. Cast iron, so I don't want to tap it too hard. But it's moving. Oh, see if I end up getting a mishammer blow, because if I hit this with a hammer, it's gonna take a big chunk out. This one's for my snowblower, I believe. This one's my drive pulley. Maybe. I don't remember. And I lost all my pictures. But I'm going to get it on there and then kind of figure out which one matches. But I got to get this off first. So who called it? Who's like, that idiot is going to hit that pulley. He's going to crack that pulley. He's going to ruin that pulley. And then he's going to have to do math and figure out what kind of pulley I need. All right. So I did that thing you shouldn't do when you work on cars. And I got mad. So I hit it harder with the hammer. And remember how I said if you miss and hit that pulley, it'll probably break. Yeah, I hit that pulley really good with the ball peen. The ball part, so it was smaller surface area, so it was like right there. So it cracked up the side. I'll show you guys here in a second. Hello there, little crack. Yep, I got to move maybe a little over a 1/4 inch from where I started. And going around the edge, and I kept just barely tapping the edge. I'm like, it's okay, it's spreading it out, it's letting this go through. And that fella right there, that's the one. I smacked it, and I watched it crack go all the way up the side. And so, yeah, it's junk. Now I need to find a pulley and figure out what's going to happen. So yeah, guys, that's why I always go, I am not a professional. By any stretch of the term, I am not a professional. But I'm determined. I need a big straight plowy plow thing to move the fluff stuff that comes down from the sky. Couldn't just come off there. I had to hit it with a hammer. I had to hit it harder with a hammer. Oh. So, pulley's junk. Motor wasn't going to rebuild anyway, so it didn't matter how much damage I did to that. So now I got to figure out math. That'll be it for this episode of learning DIY on the fly. And apparently learning today how to bust antique pulleys that they no longer make. They no longer make them. So all the attachments that would normally go to this tractor will no longer be able to work with this tractor. The snowblower I have, I would have to find multiple pulleys, put multiple pulleys on the shaft, if that would even work. But yeah, so that's it for this one. Please like, share, subscribe, and you can see me do horrible damage to antique pieces of equipment, apparently, with hammers. Thanks for watching.